There are several different projects that I'm involved with having to do with energy drinks and drinking on campus more generally, drinking of alcohol, of course. And one of the projects is really focused on what's happening in the sororities and fraternities, what their perceptions are of what the norms around drinking are and the norms around uses of energy drinks, and also mixing of energy drinks with alcohol. The other project that's really directly related to energy drinks is actually being done by my undergraduate students. We have a class that is focused on public relations, management, and campaign design. In that class, the students take on a client each semester and they do research for that client and then suggest some kind of campaign proposal or public relations program that will address an issue that the client is concerned about. This semester, my students, who are seniors in communication and public relations majors, are looking at the issue of energy drinks on campus on behalf of health and wellness. And so they're doing a combination of research that includes environmental scanning, so seeing what kinds of drinks students are having at the local bars and what they're purchasing at grocery stores, and they're talking with people in the business sector. They're also doing focus groups with student leaders and with other students around campus. They're also doing some surveys. And they're going to be reporting back to me in the next week or two, and then they'll be reporting back to Health and Wellness to make some suggestions as to whether energy drink use on campus is a problem, the extent of the problem, and then what they think Health and Wellness might do to try to help solve whatever the problem might be. So one of the things that they've learned, and also that I've learned through a combination of surveys and focus groups and environmental scanning, is that the energy drinks are very popular on campus. To some extent, they're popular just on their own behalf. So a lot of students are drinking energy drinks instead of drinking coffee or tea, or in addition to drinking coffee or tea. They're using them to help study, stay up late when they're trying to study or get a paper done, or to be alert in the morning if they have to go take an exam, that kind of thing. In addition, there are some students who are mixing energy drinks with alcohol. What we've found in our surveys of the Greek community is that almost half of them say that they have done that at some point. I think that fewer students campus-wide are doing that than are doing that in the Greek community, but that's something that we're still looking at. And some of our research has been more generalizable, random samples and that kind of thing, than other research. So we're still looking at that. But it appears that at least a good number of students have at least tried mixing alcohol with energy drinks. Most of them, however, have not served alcohol mixed with energy drinks. So my impression is that most students are either sampling it at a party, or perhaps they've gone to a bar. They may be of legal age, and they've gone to a bar and they've had a special. A lot of bars around here have drink specials that mix Red Bull with vodka or something like that. And so there are a lot of students who've done that. Most of them probably don't use it to excess or get themselves into a dangerous situation, but we're still looking at the extent of that problem. One of the things that I am seeing in a lot of the research that we've done is that students don't seem to know a whole lot about what the ingredients are in energy drinks and how much you can have without it becoming dangerous. So one of the concerns that we have nationally about the use of energy drinks is that they're largely unregulated. The ingredients are not well understood, and they aren't necessarily consistent from one brand to another. And so a lot of times people don't really know what they're drinking. And I see that as a problem, because if you want to be responsible and careful with what you're doing, you need to at least know what's in what you're drinking. And that's not always clear. So that's a concern. And there have been some instances nationwide where people have made themselves very ill or have even died as a result of having too much of what is in an energy drink. And that's regardless of whether it's been mixed with alcohol. So that concern exists. It certainly doesn't happen with the majority of people who are drinking energy drinks. So we don't want to overreact to the problem, but we do want to make sure that students have the information that they need and the ability to make decisions that are right for themselves. And hopefully they're not going to be putting themselves or others in danger. One of the things that I see as a real positive to the research that we've been doing is that students seem really open to getting information. They're interested in knowing facts so that they can make up their own minds. They're also interested, I think, in watching out for each other. So that's a real positive thing. And it looks to me as though not that many of them are actually mixing energy drinks with alcohol and then serving it to others. So one potential concern that we could have, that I think perhaps we don't need to have to a great extent, is that students might be consuming energy drinks mixed with alcohol without knowing it. And it's important to know what you're consuming. And so I'm hoping that that is not going to be a big problem. But it's certainly something that we're looking into. So in the course of the research that we've been doing, we've been seeing some opportunities and some challenges having to do with the uses of energy drinks on campus. One of the opportunities that we're seeing is that students seem to be really interested in real information. They seem to be interested in taking care of each other. They certainly don't seem to be interested in hurting each other. And so that's obviously an opportunity. We can certainly build on students' natural desire to have a sense of community, to be taking care of themselves and each other. One of the challenges that we're encountering, which is certainly not unique to Washington State University, it's certainly true nationwide, is that students at residential colleges and universities are interested in having that special experience when they're on campus, and to some extent that means the opportunity to experiment in different ways, to experiment with who they are, who they want to be, what kinds of things they're interested in doing, pushing boundaries and seeing what happens. And that's, to some extent, a natural part of, becoming an adult, figuring out, okay, where are your limits? What is it that you want to be? What kinds of priorities do you have? What kinds of activities are going to be rewarding for you? And our concern is to make sure that that's going to happen in as safe an environment as possible.